Homecoming. With the Downer Brothers. Move it.
You wanna bunch of real estate in the city, what you gon' do? Call the Downer Brothers and I guarantee they got you. Real estate business, listen, let's get it.
Real estate.
Real estate business, listen, let's get it.
Listen.
This episode is sponsored by Jarrod Greer with Guaranteed Rate. Whether you are looking to buy your first home or renovate your current home, go to rate.com/Jarrod Greer today.
Equal housing lender, subject to credit approval. Restrictions apply. NMLS ID 301746. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Welcome to Homecoming with the Downer Brothers. This is Anthony.
This is Anton.
And man, we have a Homecoming alumni coming back. You have seen this man in episode 13. Who do we have today, sir?
We have Jarrod Greer of Guaranteed Rate.
Guaranteed Rate housing lender. No. Hey, Jarrod, welcome back to Homecoming with the Downer Brothers. Look, we had you in episode 13. That was way back in October. Look, that was October 5th of 2019.
Yep.
So you've been around to see these last 2 years the growth that has happened since then, and I'm proud to say, I'm really appreciative of your role in it. Like you've opened some doors for us. Now we're partners, we're brand partners with Guarantee Rate.
Absolutely.
And it was because you opened that door for us. So we're eternally grateful. Saying it here on camera. Develop relationships. This is what we talk about when we talk about developing relationships. So just had to put that out there before we even start. Thank you.
Well, I feel like I should be interviewing you guys, man, because you guys have been doing some amazing things, man. I want to be out here. I want the mics in your mouth. Right? But thanks a lot, man. It has been a pleasure, man, to work with you guys. It has been a pleasure to know you guys. A lot of people probably see you on social media and see you guys doing a lot of things. One thing I can say around being around you guys, man, you guys are genuine. Everything you guys do is from the heart, and that's why good things are happening for you, man. Good things are happening because of who you are, right? I met your parents, right? And I know that they have instilled good things in you, man. And I'm pretty sure they're proud of you too.
Yeah, man. Right? I appreciate that. So you're an alumni, but even though you're an alumni, there may be people out there, there's people out there in America and around the world who don't know where you're from. So if you could please tell them, where is home?
Man, so home is actually Naperville, right? But I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, and that is actually where my branch is in Bronzeville area. So yeah, man, home and right now work is in Chicago.
All right, cool. What high school?
Went to Lindblom, went to Lindblom Tech. And from there, actually started off at St. Sabina, man. So a lot of people probably heard of St. Sabina. Went to St. Sabina for grammar school. From there, Lindblom Tech, and from there, WIU. And, had an amazing 4 years there. And, man, off it started my career.
Yeah, and you pledged one of them fraternities out there, too.
It is called Kappa Alpha Psi.
It's crazy because, one of your frat brothers is at my firehouse, Robert Morgan.
Yeah.
And we met you, and I didn't make the connection until I felt like it was like a few weeks before I realized that y'all even knew each other.
Yeah, same school. That's actually my neophyte, man. So yeah, I pledged Bobby, man. Good brother.
Yeah. So cool. So all right. So now we know where you're from, and I feel like just like we've been growing. You've grown because you opened that brick and mortar branch in Bronzeville, which is a historically black neighborhood on the south side of Chicago, which gave access and awareness to home mortgages to that community on a level that it hadn't had before. But since then, I feel like your role has changed a little bit, or you're doing more or something like that. Can you tell us what's going on now?
So the cool thing is man, of course, I started off with just myself, man, and my assistant, and we had a chance to come in as just, a loan officer. From there, we started putting together a team and started growing out and started recruiting. And I recruited, man. I literally did that because when I got to Guaranteed Rate, when I saw like how they operate, when I saw the efficiency, the technology, right, I was like, man, this needs to be shared by more people. So I literally started, man, just sitting down. I reached out to my regional manager, man, and he was, I was blessed that he allowed me to take on a branch manager position. And then, man, I got a chance to get out there and start recruiting and bringing in more people. And what I want to do, man, I really want to take loan officers who were, struggling in this industry, right? I want to see them boost W-2s. I want to see people who were like struggling in their banks, man, to close 10 mil and know what it feels like to do 20 million in a year, 30 million, 40 million in a year, right?
Whoa, right. But those numbers sound crazy.
No, But we've seen the sheets, man. I've seen the receipts.
Right.
This man is pushing out a lot of loans.
Yeah. So we wanted to do that, man. So we had a chance to start recruiting, bringing in loan officers from other banks, letting them experience what Guaranteed Rate has to offer. Not only that, we wanted to bring Guaranteed Rate into the city of Chicago, right, brick and mortar,
Right.
and we wanted to make sure that we were providing that service, man, to other real estate agents. Who looked like us, who wasn't getting that service, right? Or who didn't know anyone here who they can do business with, right? So in essence, with Guaranteed Rate growing out my business because of business, because of technology and things like that, then we get a chance to grow the business of real estate agents also.
Right, and that's important. Just to take you guys back on a journey, back to the beginning of the Downer Brothers when we started. I didn't see a brick and mortar guarantee rate back in 2010, 2011 when I first started doing research looking for a 203K renovation loan. Yeah. And there's not a bunch of banks doing it. So the fact that guarantee rate is there and offers that loan, if you guys are trying to do what we did,
right? If
you want to be able to get the equity and the cash flow and buy different types of properties, you have what I didn't have. You have the ability to go to guaranteerate.com and actually be able to get the loans to either buy a multi-unit property, buy a house, be able to do a renovation.
Right.
It's right there for you. It's easier because you got people like us letting you know this is where you need to go in order to get finance to do the type of deals that we've done.
Yep, absolutely.
Look, you all have seen Guarantee Rate on the side of White Sox Stadium. Not that far away from the stadium is where his office is. Seriously.
Down the damn right, man. You will see the stadium, right?
Right.
But let's talk about that. What I think what's interesting is that for a long time, you can see all the money that goes into White Sox Stadium, right? It's a professional Major League Baseball team with all types of multi-million and billion-dollar businesses that sponsor that. But then you got this community that's only 8, 9, 10 blocks away that wasn't getting access to those companies, weren't getting access to be able to buy homes and create businesses, even though they're in the shadow of this big Major League Baseball stadium. Yeah. Then you get Guarantee Rate, who becomes the sponsor of the stadium, it's Guarantee Rate Field, and then they open up a brick and mortar right there in that community that was just sitting in the shadows, not getting access to it. Yeah. I think that's a powerful statement, and that's all we really want. We want people to be aware of opportunities and get access to it.
Man, the huge thing is access to capital, right?
Right.
There's a lot of unfortunate disenfranchised people, man, who, first of all, they don't even know, man, that they have the ability to actually purchase, right? They could be sitting on a 700 credit score, right? Everything can fit, but no one actually talked to them about about buying a home.
Right.
No one ever talked to them about, financial literacy, right? Like, how do you make sure your credit is okay? How does you make sure everything is up to par, and you actually can get pre-approved to purchase? Right. So one thing we get a chance to do, man, we get a chance to get out into the streets. Actually, Martin Luther King Center right across the street. We do a lot of financial literacy there. Okay. But we get a chance to reach out to a lot of people, man, to actually make sure that they understand that they can purchase, make sure that, that they know that the capital is there, the access is there. So now you're talking about buying single families. You're talking about buying multi-units, right? You're talking about buying investment property. When no one had the conversation with them about, literally tapping into a 401k, pulling down some funds so they can buy investment. Right? Nobody talked to them about you can actually, buy a 3-unit, right, with 3.5% down, right? Get into this property.
That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite products too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
the FHA.
I just want to piggyback. I don't want to.
All right.
On the statement you said, because I kind of feel like a situation that we see in the black community a lot of times is that grandpa passes away.
Yep.
Or mom and dad, is gone for whatever reason, and there's this house, there's this property that needs some renovation. It has either a small mortgage or no mortgage on it, but then the people who inherit the property, the children, the grandchildren, they inherit this property and don't know what to do with it. They have a job, they have income, and they have this house that needs a lot of work, and they're like, I don't want to live there because but if it got renovated,
and then they sell it, right?
And they sell it. But they could renovate it. They could either do a cash out refinance, and then fix up that home and move into it, or they can, give the people some options. What could they do if they inherit this property?
So I literally got a client right now, right? And they literally inherited the property. I forgot, right? Right now it could be worth 50 grand. And they look at it and think, what do I do with this property, right? And now you got a couple of relatives are like, they're literally saying, hey, let's just sell it and take this 50,000.
Right.
But they have no idea. Like, this is it's sitting in South Shore. This is a
South
300
Shore?
property.
No,
They have no idea but this is the offers they're getting, right? Because they don't know, right? They're trying to sell it by themselves, right? For sale by owner.
And when you don't know anybody,
Right,
you
so
take
they don't have a
advantage
real
of
estate agent, right, to kind of guide them through the process.
Right.
And everyone they want to quickly get the buck, right? They want to quickly get the 50, 60, whatever they get. But when you have the conversation about, look, this property it's actually probably worth more, first of all. But look, if you put maybe 100 grand to this property, right, and really turn this property around, it's probably be worth like 350 or more.
Right.
Right? You're talking South Shore right now.
Yeah.
Right? And then now you got a place where maybe a family member does stay in the property and live there, right? Now you're renting the other properties out, the other apartments out. But you got to have the conversation, right? Because a lot of people, unfortunately, they just don't know anything about real estate, man. Right. So their property comes and it just goes right through their fingers, and guess what? An investor comes in and he takes advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
So so that's the thing, man. It's having a conversation.
And that's why we do. Look, listen, Linda. This is why we do this. This is why we do this, because we have to be able to hold on to properties and get the actual value. When you don't know any better, you get taken advantage of.
Absolutely right.
You take the 50,000, grab bag when you can do the work, right? 6 months later, you do the renovation. Now you got a property that went from $50,000 worth to $250 or $300,000, and now you got options.
$200,000 in equity, right?
And now you got options.
Right.
And that was the sweat that maybe the grandparent or the great grandparent, when they paid that mortgage for 20 years, 30 years, however long it's been, right? It's for you to reap that, right? Not for you to just kind of go give it away, like for 50 grand, right? But a lot of people don't even know about the renovation loan, so they just think, I don't have the money to renovate this property, so they think there's nothing they need, that they can do.
Right.
Refinancing that property, then it's probably no money out of pocket. You're taking a renovation loan and you're rebuilding that property.
Look,
Simple as that.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Some of you all are like, okay, where do I learn? Where do I learn how to do this? Like, who do I get? Look, go to thedownerbrothers.com. We got referrals for you. If you need contractors, you need a realtor, if you need financing from Guaranteed Rate, come to our website and we'll give you the referrals.
Right.
At least in the Chicagoland area.
Absolutely.
Where you can get these things. And obviously for Guaranteed Rate, it's all 50 states as far as getting the financing. But if you have questions, we're here for you, because we want you to be successful. We don't want you to just give away the wealth. If you want generational wealth, you have to look at the opportunity that's before you. When your parents and your grandparents or whoever in your family leaves you something, the legacy is in you taking advantage of what has been left to you. You being able to dust off that piece of coal and see that you are actually holding a diamond.
Yeah.
That's what we want from you all.
Man, and I'm thinking about South Shore. If your property is within 2 miles of the lakefront, do not give the property away. Get a renovation loan. Make the value.
I mean, you're making it yourself.
Yeah.
You're making it yourself. You're making the equity. And look, if it's a multi-unit property, because this happened recently. Had a young lady who called me up. It was a friend of a friend. That's the only way people get my phone number. Stop giving my phone number out, y'all. Anyway, friend of a friend. She actually inherited a 2-flat, no mortgage on the property after her father passed away. And so she now she has the deed. She has has possession of the property, but it needs I haven't seen it, but she said it needs a lot of work. And I said, look, don't just get rid of the property. Don't just sell it. You're in a position where you can go get a 203K renovation loan, or you can get a Fannie Mae. What am I thinking of?
What was that? The home style.
Home style. You can get a home style loan, right? So you got these. You have options. So I told her, you have these options. I'll help you get the contractors. You can use my personal team, and you can go from a property that's worth 50 or 60 grand to tripling the worth. And now you get value, and then put some tenants in it, and it can cash flow.
Absolutely.
And then instead of just selling it, you know what you could do at that point? You could do a cash out refinance, take some of that money so you can go off and get another house while you still have this cash flowing two flat.
You was expecting them to say something like, "Man, you can take the cash out and go on vacation." No vacation. We talking about getting more property.
More property.
But even another scenario, right? We were talking about literally they were building equity where they had like 250 grand in equity right now, right? The reality is, man, you can literally turn that around so many times with different properties, right?
Right.
So you can sell it and the family can kind of break off whatever whatever their split is. But you can also pull that fund. You can actually do a cash out refinance after you do that. And now you're talking about like the family now they can create a business, right? Now you're talking about literally 250 starter money, right? To kind of go out and start. First of all, any kind of business, but if you wanted to, they could start buying and flipping, property or whatever it is they choose to do.
Right.
Right. So don't sell it to an investor to let them take the money and do what they want to do.
And another pivot, people want to scale up, right? You can take that two flat, and if you have $200,000 in equity, even less than that, if you had $100,000 in equity, $150,000 in equity, instead of having a 2-unit property, you can then take that money and go get a 6-unit, a 10-unit, a 12-unit commercial property that is cash flowing $5,000 or $6,000 a month from doing this work. It is work. Nothing that we're talking about is easy. There's a process. You first get the financing, right? You go hit Jarrod up and get the financing from Guarantee Rate. And then from that point, you have to do the work. There's labor involved. You got contractors. You get the work done. But if you can get through that process, you'll have the money that you can pull out of that property to go get commercial property and truly double or triple how much your cash flowing. And that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know, right? And it just starts off as simple as this. It's the pre-approval. Right? Simple as that. Pre-approval. It's reaching out, right, and just letting someone check and see, right? And we check credit, right? We check, income and assets and things like that. But the process is simpler than people think, right? So it starts with the pre-approval.
People don't know what they don't know, but if they come and get pre-approved, it can change their life.
Yep, starts the process.
All right. So, you know what I want right now? I want Anton's definition of the day.
It's time for Anton's definition of the day.
This is the definition of the day. Loan officer versus mortgage broker. The term mortgage broker is often used interchangeably with loan officer, but I'm here to tell you there is a difference. In other words, a mortgage broker is a type of mortgage business where they can go and find you the best rate possible for your loan. And let's be honest, we have somebody on this episode who can tell you really what the difference is between a loan officer and a mortgage broker.
All right, so we talking about the difference between a loan officer and a mortgage lender?
I feel like it's a really big difference. And like just being a part of the Guarantee Rate family, I feel like we really need to just break down what the difference is.
All right, so what is the difference between a mortgage lender and a
So
mortgage?
loan officers, realistically, loan officers are licensed in the state in which they're licensed in to lend, right? Now, there's a difference between, let's just say, a mortgage banker, right, and just a regular originator. Like some lenders are bankers, and they typically lend their own products, right? Or they lend, and they can lend, Fannie, Freddie, and things like that. But if it's outside of their realm, that they can't touch it, right? Mortgage broker is typically going to be able to touch a lot of different. They actually broker out to the other companies, right?
Right.
And actually, Guaranteed Rate with like kind of the best of both worlds. So we're a correspondent lender, right, and banker. So the reality is we lend directly to Fannie, Freddie, right, Ginnie Mae, which is HUD. So and Fannie and Freddie is like conventional mortgages. So we lend directly to them, right? That means we originate it, we underwrite it, of course we process the files and we close them in Guaranteed Rate's name. Now we also have the ability to be a broker, where a broker would actually lend the funds of another company, right? So if for some reason something doesn't quite fit the box of, let's just say, Fannie and Freddie, right, which is like 99% of probably what we do, then if for some reason the client needs a product that works better outside of that box, then we can actually go look at the other companies and we actually broker to them, right? So instead of that closing in Guaranteed Rate's name, in that situation, I basically take the needs of the client and just find the best product for them, the best lender for them, and then at that point I may go outside a guaranteed rate, maybe because it fits. But that's the cool thing about being a guaranteed rate, because not only are we direct to save the money, we can actually do correspondent lending where we can actually lend products of a whole lot of other banks as well, and then we can also broker, right? So I don't tell people it's nothing we can't do.
It's options. Yeah.
And there's a reason why a guaranteed rate is the best place to be, because you can find whatever the person needs.
Absolutely.
You can literally find whatever a person needs.
Why is it that so few banks actually do 203K renovations or renovations loans?
You know what? A lot of them don't want to take the risk for whatever reason, right? There comes risk, but if the lender knows how to do it properly, meaning, of course you lend on the product, you have to basically, you have to really vet the contractors, right? You got to make sure you line up the right consultants. After the closing, that's when the work starts for, realistically, right? After the closing, that's when all of a sudden you have the draw process and working with the contractors and everything else, making sure that the liens are cleared up. It's actually a lot of work. And a lot of lenders just kind of want to quickly get their money and leave, man, right?
Right.
So Guaranteed Rate has been in this space for a long time. We're one of the top renovation lenders, man, in this space. It's just a cool product, right? And it's a product that definitely our community needs. So, when you look at like down payment assistance, man, when you look at renovation lending, man, these are some of the things we need in order to get, access to capital.
Right.
Right.
So that's why it was important to get you back on this podcast. I mean, I feel like we can have you on every season because things are always changing. There's new products, new services, new things that all of our listeners out there could actually take advantage of when it's time for them to actually
check it out, man. Even like now, man, this is literally a seller's market, right?
Yeah.
And when I tell you that any property that goes on the market, you literally may have literally 30 people trying to put offers on that one property.
Right.
Well, what's going to change soon is what's different right now. Right.
Low inventory.
You got some, low inventory, right? But right now, the Fannie, the Freddie, like all these banks, man, who have assets that they cannot release now, meaning eventually there's going to be a lot of foreclosures. Right now they can't because of COVID. They got things in place where literally you can't foreclose, you can't take them to court now, right? The moment that is released, there's a lot of people. It's unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate, but it's just kind of what happens. There's a lot of people, unfortunately, who's going to have to maybe give up their home, or the banks have been, may end up taking them. And again, it's something that it happens, man. It's always a percentage of the properties on the market that run that course, right? And it's for a reason, right? But when those come back, you got to believe that the renovation loan is going to be huge because now you're talking properties that, they're going to, there's going to be issues with these properties, right? People can take care of them. Maybe during the winter, right? Maybe the plumbing, has frozen and things like that. Right. So then you're going to see a surge in REO properties, right? And then you're going to see a surge in renovation products. So if lenders aren't doing it,
and then here comes the down,
it's tough.
We're part of that surge. We'll be coming to scoop up some properties.
It's so crazy because I remember going FHA on my first 3 unit. Right?
You always talk about this every episode.
No.
It talks about this first property.
Famous
let me finish, man. I'm just saying how things have changed over the years, man.
Yeah, tell us what changed over the years. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying.
All right.
Did an FHA loan.
Yeah.
Refinance. Went back and you went FHA. But now we're looking at flips and stuff like that. Right. And we was like, man, I wonder if Guaranteed Rate can get us into like the like hard money and things like that for those type of products.
So it's funny you mention that, man. So before COVID, right, that we actually had in line a couple of lenders that we broker to, right? Because that would have been a broker product that would do just that, right? Allow you to purchase, allow you to flip. I think we kind of put it on hold for a little bit, right, until kind of COVID is over, things kind of ease up a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's a product that's coming, right? So stay tuned, okay? But there's also Homestyle, right? We kind of briefly talked about Fannie Mae Homestyle that actually allows investors to buy and hold. Now, can you buy and flip? You can, but we typically like to buy and hold that one. But if you want to buy and hold, a Fannie Mae Homestyle product allows you to buy that property, renovate that property as an investor, and you can hold that property, right? Because that's the game plan right now, right?
Right, and
rates are cheap.
It's coming. In fact, as soon as we finish filming this, this new season, so we filming in LA, we back and forth filming and stuff for our TV show, but. We know that eventually they're going to start releasing these properties. There's going to be foreclosures and short sales. it might just be perfect timing for us to jump in with the home style loan. I'm just,
Man,
I've been thinking
about
about
your
it.
3 mil property, man, out in L.A.
I've been thinking,
No.
nah, we not doing, we definitely in Chicago with this one.
Right,
in Chicago
right,
with
Do a $3 million flip.
this one. Well, eventually.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. There
Yeah,
you
that's
go. Don't count it out.
Wait till season 2. No. So, but no, I mean, and I don't know. I just want to bring it back and be real about this. There's massive opportunity for people right now, and there'll be massive opportunity for you later. You have to review the circumstances and figure out where you fit. Are you prepared? Are you getting your credit together? Do you have your taxes completed?
Yeah.
Do you have your bank account statements? Do you have all your documentation? Have you started to develop a relationship with a mortgage lender
Absolutely.
so that you can be prepared to take advantage of what is going on?
And make sure you understand that a recession is not necessarily a bad thing for you. In a recession, people are going to foreclose. People are going to lose properties. But that also means that you can buy those properties, and sometimes on the cheap.
And because inventory literally is so low, right? You got prices rising. So as the inventory starts to increase, guess what? Rates, prices are going to start coming down a little bit. And people are going to, unfortunately, because these are cycles, guys. This thing happens all the time.
It is.
People are going to miss out if they're not paying attention right now to the credit scores, right? If they're not paying attention, making sure that they're saving money, right? If they're not doing that, then they're going to miss out. Right. And this cycle is probably going to start turning somewhere around later 2021, right? You want to be a part of it. You want to be a part of it.
So it's basically what it's coming down to is preparation. What are you preparing for? Are you writing down your goals? Once you've written down your goals, have you started the plans and figured out what do you have to have in place? Which is why I gave you that laundry list of items that you have to have in place as far as your paperwork. And then on top of that, are you disciplined enough to actually save your money, to pay your credit card bills down?
Yeah.
This is what you can be doing. You can actually set a goal that for the rest of 2021, I'm going to pay all my bills and have a budget, and so that my credit is good enough, so that I have money saved up, so that I can take advantage of everything that's coming. This is your preparation time. Even if you're not ready, some of you are ready today. And for those of you who aren't ready today, 9 months from now, almost like you're birthing your own child. 9 months from now, you could be in position to be able to buy the properties that are coming.
And one thing you said was huge, man. It's like, are you being disciplined, right? Because they can watch this right now and they can be motivated, right? Hey, man, I want to buy a property. I want to get rented. I want to do a renovation loan. But the reality is, man, to get ready, if you're not ready today, it literally takes just the day in and day out of making sure you're paying your credit on time. Right. It's the day in and day out of making sure that you kind of put aside some amount of money to save for that property, right? I don't care if it's $100 a paycheck. I don't care if it's $300, whatever you decide. It's the discipline part comes in just doing the work day in and day out, right? And that's how you get there, man. That's how you get there.
Absolutely. All right, so I feel like we've had a thorough discussion, but I want you to just give us one, client, one situation where you help someone and let us know how much did it cost, how long did it take. How did you help them to get to the point where they were able to purchase that property? Are there any situations they come to
So
mind?
I tell you what, we actually have a client, right? That I think you guys have done some, you may be doing some work on. We had a refinance that we did just recently.
Okay.
I want to say it was a multi-unit. I think that you guys did some consulting on that particular one.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And they came to us. Forgive me for not remembering the numbers, but right now their property was close to market rate, right? And they came in. So let's just throw an example out there. Let's just say today it was worth about maybe $150,000. And I want to say, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I think this may have been a 2-unit, possibly a 3-unit. But they're doing a renovation on their property right now, right? And I think the renovations on that one, and I wish I could remember the exact client's name. You guys remember this one?
Well, we don't put people's names in there.
You're right.
I'm up here thinking about over on 61st Street, but that's a single family home.
No, well, we got the multi-units too. We got one over in Roseland.
Oh,
Right.
But I mean, it's so many referrals.
But this
That's why I don't want to put a name on it.
What he's talking about.
Right.
No, but just
But this example
give
is
them
the
a
same
plan.
example, man. In this scenario, when you're talking about renovation loans, that I literally see it over and over again. And so it's okay to mention this again, that this person is sitting on a 2-unit, right? I think the value today was about $150,000. I think what they want to do was going to be maybe somewhere around like $80,000, $90,000, $100,000, something like that. And they're thinking like, man, how do I do it? Because I don't have the money, right? And when we had this conversation, we were able to say, okay, you're 150 now. That's what your current value is. So if you go try to get a home equity line, you can only lend up. They can only lend up to the $150,000, right? Because that's the value. Well, with the renovation loan, you can lend on the after improved value. Right. So the huge part of that is when they come in and say, look, this is my home, but this is what I want it to look like. This is what I want it to be. Well, we get a chance to take what it's gonna be, right? That's taking the contractor's bid, right? That's taking the consultant, getting that scope of work, and see that, look, when they finish, this home is going to be worth $300,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Now we can actually do the renovation, right? Because we lend on after improved value, right?
And that's
so,
key.
yeah,
Major key.
and a lot of people don't know that, right? So they just go and try to get a home equity line. Yeah, the equity's not there today, right? We're looking at future equity, future value, and that's how we help get those products. And help get the project done. So that's what I see day in and day out.
Man, it's so important that people know about that product.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So look, everything that we're talking about right now is actually happening or has already happened. We're not talking about theoretical situations. These are real people who are actually being able to take properties that are deemed hard or difficult or worthless, and they're able to actually go ahead and get a renovation loan and be able to get market value for their property when it's done. This is what is possible. So please follow up, do your research, listen to this podcast again, read some books. And then after you've done all of that planning, don't get stuck in the planning stage. Actually pick up the phone and make an appointment and go ahead and start dealing with the professionals you need. Your realtor, your mortgage lender, your real estate attorney, your contractors, the full gamut.
Right.
Take action on your life. You can do this.
Absolutely.
You can do this. Please believe that you can do this. Okay. I had to say that. I'm sorry. All right. So let's do a little segue right here. Let's do a segue right here. I want to know, when you hear the word homecoming, what does that mean to you?
Homecoming. Homecoming with the Downing Brothers? That's the first thing that comes to mind, man. Homecoming. All right, so let me put this in perspective, right? So let's say for me, right, we mentioned earlier that I currently live in Naperville, right? Grew up in Chicago, actually had a chance to open up brick and mortar guaranteed rate right in Chicago in Bronzeville, right? So that was my homecoming, right? I had a chance to, to graduate, went away to college, started my professional career, right? And then I had a chance to take this service, right, and actually put it right in Chicago.
Right.
So that was my homecoming, man. That's where I get a chance to kind of, give the gift of mortgage lending. That's where we get a chance to literally kind of, work in, in the streets, man, ground level, and literally just work with people in the community, help them purchase, right? Help them invest, right? So that's my home. That's my ideal homecoming.
I like that.
Yeah.
And and I think it is fulfilling to be able to come home and give back.
Yep.
All right. I want to ask you now, what's next for you? Professionally, personally, what do you want to tell people that is next for you?
So what's next? So we talked about the fact, of course, that, I had a chance to come to Guaranteed Rate, had a chance to grow my business, had a chance to actually take on a branch manager position, of course, and had a chance to kind of start recruiting people in the Chicagoland area, right? Well, I just recently, man, had a great conversation, man, about, and I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys or not, man, but I had a great conversation about taking on an area manager position. Area manager position is like kind of doing what I'm doing on a smaller scale and taking it to a larger scale. And really, man, we had a lot of conversation around, I don't know if you talked about this, right, but one of the ground members of LEAD, right? LEAD at Guaranteed Rate is for leadership, equality, and development. And what we're doing is we're doing actually a lot of diverse hiring. We're introducing a lot of people into this industry, man, who have not had a shot, right? So we have a program called Accelerate, where we're actually able to bring people in this industry who would do well in this industry but never had a shot. So we come in, we actually teach them the industry, actually go through a real cool program. So I get a chance to reach out to people, man, and I think over the last few years, the last few weeks, months, I had a chance to bring in probably good 5 or 6 people, man, through this program, which is pretty amazing, man. We get them licensed and do some of everything. But the area manager position actually allowed me to actually hire within different states, right? So there's 9 different states, man.
I think you was going to talk over Chicago. Right. I thought you were talking about the city. You're talking about states.
So there are 9 different states now, man, that I get a chance to actually go out and recruit and look for people who want to just grow into this industry. Because I don't know if you know or not, man, but the reality is even when I got into this industry, man, I was an accountant and I knew nothing about mortgage banking, right? I knew of banks, right, but I didn't know of mortgage banking. Yeah. So I had a chance to get introduced to it when I was actually buying a home, as most people do. That's probably when they get introduced to it. Real estate agent, mortgage lending. So what we want to do is we want to put this out in the forefront, right? We want to let people know that this is an option. And especially now, right? Guaranteed Rate has been hiring like crazy during this whole 2020. Right. We're growing. We did like $93 billion in business, man. So where a lot of companies were laying off. I'm sorry, I threw it out there like
that's an everyday number.
You said 93 billion?
93 billion, man. So yeah, it was crazy numbers, man. But where you got a lot of people that are like companies unfortunately laying off, and it's unfortunate, right? Guaranteed Rate actually, man, you probably seen it on the news, man. There's a lot of cool slots we did, man. We were hiring like crazy. So we brought a lot of people into this industry. So
wait. So what you saying to all of America out there, if you're looking for a job, call Jarrod. Well, for some of y'all, seriously, call Jarrod. But I mean, I'm happy to
But the
hear
industry's
that.
doing great, man. The industry's doing great.
Right. So there's opportunities out there. So, hey, some of you all, you're listening because, you want to buy a property, you want to invest. And some of y'all, you might just realize that this might be an industry, actual career path within real estate that is for you in mortgage lending. Right. All right. So I want to ask you too, every time we have a guest come on, is there any charitable organizations that you want people to be aware of or that maybe they should support?
So we did have one that we were supporting last year. Actually lately, man, Guaranteed Rates Foundation, man, is where we've had a chance over this last year. We've had a chance as like loan officers, man, to actually be able to give to the foundation. And the cool thing about that is, man, that the owner, Victor, he chooses a lot of different companies, man, that he gives the funds to help. So all throughout the year, man, the foundation itself is just giving, it's giving money, man, to a lot of people in need. So as opposed to me necessarily trying to reach out and try to find different ones, it's just cool because a lot of times what he does is he'll match, right? So as an employee, maybe if I give a certain amount, there's been times where he literally, man, would match that, 100%, right? So can't beat that, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right?
That's awesome.
It's doubling the dollars to give.
I'm glad to hear that. Victor, we would love to meet you and bring you on Homecoming with the Downer Brothers. Well, we already met you, but we want you to come on.
Right, I was about to say, we met.
We'd love to talk to you about all the stuff, great things you're doing.
Talk about the foundation.
Right? All right. So, with all that being said, how can people find you?
Man, pretty easy, man. So for myself, I guess the easiest way is just kind of giving out, the website is www.rate.com/Jarrod Greer. That's JARROD.GREER.
Okay, cool. And we'll have a graphic up there so everybody can see that.
Right.
All right. So thank you for coming on again. We got to have you on annually because things are always changing. And again, I just want to say it. We appreciate what you've done for us, brother.
Well, it's always a pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure. It feels weird because I know you guys, right? And we're sitting here interviewing. But the reality is, man, again, I told you guys once before, man, many a times, you guys have been a blessing to a lot of people. So, of course, whenever you guys want me out, man, it is a pleasure to just be there because what we do is get a chance to kind of just teach, show people like how to do, right? How to buy, how to invest, right? And it's just fun, man. It's fun to see people open their eyes, and you literally see them open their eyes, right?
You see a light bulb
and they just didn't know, right?
That's what it is.
And then you get a chance to take the calls afterwards and just have one-on-one conversations, man, to help people just kind of grow. And some of the people are ready today. Some of them are, maybe they're not ready for another 3 months. Right. But those are the real cool conversations, man, because you've enlightened them. And now they flip the switch and they're ready to get to work. And those are ones you love to work with, man. Love to work with.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, with all that being said, stick around for Anthony's After Set.
You're now entering Anthony's After Set.
Thank you for sticking around for Anthony's After Set. What I want to leave with you all today is that you need to lead. Leadership is something that is a verb. It's something that you take action on. You need to lead in your own life and start with you. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, where am I leading myself today? Am I leading myself towards the bag? Or am I leading myself into a trap? What are you doing to lead? And it's not always about pointing the fingers out into the sky at other people and what other people are doing or what they should be doing, but looking back at yourself and asking yourself, what are you doing to lead? I want you all to be leaders, not followers. Go out and attain all the information that you need. Gain the knowledge, do the labor, and then see the results. Because you chose to lead. Thank you for tuning in to Anthony's After Set.